wanted to welcome you, and hopefully you will find out enough information about our program that you're going to want to join us. I'm going to ask that you hold your questions till we get through all of the programs, because hopefully I will have answered the majority of them, but I'm sure you may have questions. So at the end, we will have time to be able to answer that. And throughout the webinar, if you want to put your questions into the chat room, that would be helpful to us too. The other thing is you don't have to worry about writing down information from this PowerPoint. We will be sending you a copy of the PowerPoint when the webinar is over. Our program has 4 degrees and certificates available: the Master of Education, the Educational Specialist Certificate, the Doctor of Education, and the Doctor of Philosophy. And I'm going to describe those in detail. The career options that you are able to have if you complete our programs: you can be a principal and assistant principal through the Master's or Educational Specialist program. You can be a director or supervisor of special education, and that is an education specialist program. And many of superintendents in the area have doctorates from Wayne State, either a Doctor of Education or a Doctor of Philosophy. It is not a requirement to be a superintendent to have a doctorate, though. The Master's or Ed Specialist will do to become a superintendent. So out of these programs, the Ed Specialist Leadership Program, we prepare administrators to work in both public, charter, and private schools. We also have students who take our program to develop their leadership skills and take on leadership positions in higher education. That is also one of the things you can do through our program. You are able to apply, once you complete the master's program, you are able to apply through the Michigan Department of Education for an administrative certificate, depending on the program you're in, either an elementary or secondary administrator, K-12, or as a central office administrator. You apply through the MOAX system for that. For those certifications. That's the Michigan Online Educator Certification System, which I'm sure you are familiar with if you are a current teacher. You may not be familiar with that if you are not, if you're coming from a different field other than education. The application is much like you do for teacher certification. You can also receive approval as a special education administrator, either a supervisor or director, and that's a little different application process. You need to go through your human resources department, and they request the approval for both the supervisor or the director of special education. I now want to talk about the application process and what the requirements are. For admission to our Master of Education program, you see a list of what's required. I need you to understand, though, many times the application process stops because things are missing in your application. The things that we see that are missing many times are the transcripts. And when you're first making your application, you can upload an unofficial transcript, and that will help move the process of the application along. The other thing that is missing many times is a personal statement. And this is just a short statement about why you want to be part of our program, what are your goals, and how this program can help you achieve those goals. Our master's is a 30 credit hour program, which is really comparable with other universities. We offer it in 2 ways. It is either offered as an on-campus program, which has courses that can be traditional in-seat classes, hybrid, where part of the time you're in-seat at the university, or online. And then there are some online courses also within that master's. Beginning this fall, though, we are also offering an option of being completely online. So you have the option of either in-seat or online coursework. When you complete this master's, you can apply for Elementary and Secondary Administrator K-12 certification. This is a listing of the courses that are required for the master's, and there are 10 courses. You are able to complete this in 5 semesters, taking 2 courses each semester. For financial aid purposes, 4 credit hours is considered full-time in fall and winter. Spring, summer, I just looked this up yesterday, 1 credit hour is considered full-time, even though none of these courses are 1 credit hour. But as I said, this is a program that you can complete in 5 semesters. You don't have to. If you want to take longer time, you can, but you have to be done within 6 years. The educational specialist offers 3 plans. Plan A is Central Office Administrator. Plan B is Elementary and Secondary Administrator. And Plan C is Special Education Administrator. These are all also 30 credit hour programs. And as you complete them, you are able to apply for certification and approval as either a special ed supervisor or director. These can all be completed also in 2 years, 5 semesters, taking 2 courses each semester. Here are the admission requirements. All 3 plans, A, B, and C, have these same admissions requirements. The same thing, the same issue is here. Make sure if you want your application to proceed, you've got to make sure you upload those unofficial transcripts. You will be required to have official transcripts sent, but unofficial transcripts we can admit with those. Make sure you also have that personal statement. To be a part of the Educational Specialist Certificate Program, you must have a master's degree. Now, for Plan C, the Special Education Administration Program, there are additional admissions requirements. You must be certified in an area of special education, such as a special ed teacher, a school social worker, speech and language pathologist. And if you're not sure if you're involved in a field that qualifies, just email me, give me a call. I'll be happy to talk to you about that. You also must have a minimum of 3 years of experience in your field of special education to be admitted to the Special Education Administration Program. This is Plan A, Central Office Administrator, and there are 9 courses required. This program is a combination of traditional, hybrid, and online courses. It is different from the Elementary and Secondary Administrator or the Principal K-12 program. Many times we have students who receive their master's in the Elementary and Secondary Administrator K-12, and they come back for an Ed Specialist in Central Office Administrator. Many times this is if you're interested in becoming a superintendent or an assistant superintendent. You also apply through MOACs for this certification. The Plan B Ed Specialist is the Elementary and Secondary Administrator K-12, and it is for students who already have a master's but in an area other than educational leadership. 9 classes, 30 credit hours. Courses here are offered in both the traditional setting or all online. So that would be up to you what you would be interested in doing. Once again, you apply through MOACs for the certification for this program. The third Plan C educational specialist is Special Education Administrator. This coursework is all online. It's not offered as a traditional program. You have to be certified, as I said before, in an area of special education and have worked in the special education field for 3 years. 30 credit hours. The interesting thing about this is if you're interested in being a supervisor of special education, once you are admitted to this program, your district is able to apply for temporary approval. There are then requirements that you must take 6 hours each year to continue with the temporary certification. It's a little different for director. You need to have completed 12 hours in the program before you can receive temporary approval, but that is also available as a director of special education. And once you complete all of the coursework and receive your ed specialist, you're able to receive full approval as the director of special education. And also with this program, you will get central office administration certification. So especially now, districts, well, the state of Michigan is requiring that all positions have some type of administrative certification, even if you're a special education administrator. And MDE, Michigan Department of Ed, is really following through on that. So if you're interested in this program, please email me, give me a call, and I can give you more information on that. The next program we have is a Doctor of Education in Educational Leadership and Policy Studies. This doctorate is practical applied research, and we address job-embedded problems. So this doctorate is for people who are working in the field of education and are looking at developing continued leadership in education and wanting to be involved in policy-making roles. So this is one that I would say that many superintendents have the Doctor of Education. Here are the admissions requirements. Once again, making sure you get that autobiographical statement in, the transcripts in, and the additional 3 letters of recommendation. For the Doctor of Education, there are 2 professional letters of recommendations required and 1 academic. Once we review your application, if you're not already part of our program, then as either a master's or ed specialist student, we would probably ask you to come in for an interview so we can talk to you about why you're interested in this program and what your goals are. The Doctor of Education course requirements include, it is a minimum 90-hour credit requirement. We do accept a maximum of 30 graduate semester credit hours when you're coming into the program. So really what you're looking at is usually a minimum of 60 credit hours. And those are, you need to take more educational policy studies courses, doctoral seminars. A big part too is the research techniques. You will need those for writing your dissertation. And then there are 20 hours of dissertation credit. And the time limitation for completing this is within 7 years. The next and final degree is the Doctor of Philosophy. And this program is designed more for, it's theoretically driven. Empirical research to advance knowledge in the field. If you're interested in working in higher education, working on research, interested in publishing, that is what this program is for. Excuse me. These are the admission requirements. They are, excuse me, they are very similar to the Doctor of Education, but in this we need 1 professional recommendation and 2 academic, because we'll be looking at your, we look at writing skills in both of them, but the Doctor of Philosophy requires excellent writing skills, as do both of our programs. These are the course requirements. It is also a minimum of 90 credit hours. We again accept 30 graduate credit hours in this program. And when I'm talking about transfer credits and even applying to the program, it must come from an accredited university to be considered for any of our programs. Area of concentration, 30 semester hours, 15 in educational policy studies courses. You need to take doctoral seminars. Research techniques, there will be more courses there. And then your dissertation is 30 hours. And you have up to 7 years to complete your dissertation, to complete the program, your courses and your dissertation. As far as admissions deadlines, for the Masters in Education Specialists, we're pretty flexible. But you need to get things in at least 2 to 4 weeks before the semester starts. When you get closer to the semester starting, it gets a little trickier. But we do our best to process every application that we receive that has all of the information submitted. For our doctorate programs, for fall, April 1st was the cutoff. For winter, October 1st is the cutoff for that program, for applying for that. Here is some information on where you can go on the Wayne State website for tuition and fee information, scholarship information, and financial aid. And those websites do a nice job of giving you the information that you need to apply for financial aid, scholarships, that kind of thing. This is a list of our faculty who are located at the university and their email addresses. If you have questions, you can email them directly. We also have many part-time faculty, adjunct faculty who are superintendents in the area, human resource directors, special education directors, principals who teach our courses. So we have people who are in the field, particularly for our Masters in Education Specialist program, who are daily in contact with faculty and students. So you're getting up-to-date information through our program. If you have any questions at any time, you can email me or call me. Here's the information. And as I said, you will be getting a copy of this PowerPoint, and we will also provide a link. We are recording the webinar, and we will provide a link for that. Now is your opportunity to ask any questions you might have. Okay, there are not, the one question, are there many classes offered in the summer, or are they mostly in fall, winter? We offer many more courses in fall and winter, but we do try and offer every semester courses that are required for all of the programs. For both the Masters and Ed Specialists particularly, we try to offer those every semester. For the Doctor of Education program, does your master's have to be in a specific area? No, it does not. We many times what happens is people have a master's in a different area, but what might happen is you may need to take some additional courses if you do not have any educational leadership or policy study courses at all. I participated in the educational certification program but didn't finish. If you are only doing certification, then the previous classes will count towards certification. If you want to get an education specialist, a master's is required for certification. So we accept courses up to 10 years old, but if they're older than 10 years, you will have to retake the courses. And if you've been accepted in a program, you would need to apply for a time extension, and you may have to revalidate some of your courses. But that's something you should contact me or the certification officer, and we can review where you're at in the program and what additional courses you would need to take for certification. How long does an average student take to complete the Doctor of Education program? I would say it does take 5 to 7 years. I think the coursework people sometimes finish relatively quickly. Then it's up to you how long you take to complete your dissertation. The faculty positions available at a university once a PhD has been completed. I think that depends on where you want to live. Different states have openings. You know, we hired somebody recently. We anticipate we may hire somebody in the future, but you can't guarantee when there are going to be openings. But I have gone online, and I know there are openings throughout, you know, the United States. But are you willing to relocate, or do you want to stay in the area? So that's something really, it's up to you if you need to stay in the area or if you are willing to move. I don't think that, will the PhD program be offered as a cohort? I don't think that will happen. We usually need about 10 students at a time to begin a cohort. We did just recently have a cohort. We have 2 started right now, one in higher education, but it's an EDD program, and one out of Wayne Risa in Wayne, Michigan, another EDD program. We usually don't accept as many PhD students as we accept EDD students, so I don't anticipate a cohort being offered. Some of the PhD courses are online, but they are not all online. Many of them are hybrid, where you know, it's about half and half, in seat for half of the time and online for the other half of the time. But there are no policy study courses that are not at some point in seat during the semester. There are scholarships available, and Jeff put that information there. Also in the PowerPoint, you'll see there's a website you can go to apply for scholarships. We haven't started planning for the next set of cohorts, but we will still be admitting students to the Doctor of Education program. So you may be in some of the same classes with those students, but we just started these cohorts in the winter, so there wouldn't be another one starting for probably at least another year or 2, particularly the higher ed one. I think we wouldn't be starting another cohort in that area for about 2 years. The Wayne Risa Doctor of Education cohort was one, like I said, that we recently started in winter. And what it is, we set out a course of study at the beginning so people know what classes they're going to be taking what semester. So we give them a plan of work right from the start so they know what is happening. And I would anticipate that any cohort we run again would be done that way. The EDD program, like I said, we are accepting students in both the PhD program and the EDD program. So if you're interested, you can go ahead and apply. If you have questions about those programs beforehand, please email or call me. Thank you. Okay. I just want to thank everybody for attending the webinar. And as I said, you have any questions, my email address, I'm going to go back to that if I can. My email address is ae2562@wayne.edu, and you see my phone number there, 313-577-1675. So email is probably best because you're usually asking questions that I need to attach some file with. So, but I will be glad to talk to you either way, email or on the phone.
Finally, we have some graduate admissions advisors available in academic services on the 4th floor of the education building as well. We do walk-in advising every Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. So you could just pop on upstairs and speak with one of the advisors about any of the programs that Dr. Harding just described to you. If you have any other questions, we can also be emailed generally at askcoe@wayne.edu. And I can personally be emailed at gc2394@wayne.edu as well.